everybody. Welcome to another episode of Heavily Biased Talks College Football. So today we're going to be going over Week 10 of the college slate. There's a lot of big games this weekend. A lot of big games. A lot of the playoff picture will come into focus a little bit more after this weekend is done. Justin, last week, man, you had a great week on the picks. You went 9-3 overall. You hit your lock of Oregon, and I had my worst week to date. I went 4-7, and my lock was Houston, which was plus 17. They lost by almost half 100. So, yeah. Rough go.
Hey, that
but
happens, man.
got to bounce back. You got to bounce back. Can't spend too much time.
I will say 9-3. I gotta say that's a good week.
That's good. Yeah, and the only one that you really, I'm looking at it right now. The only one that I think you were, I guess, the farthest off on was Kentucky money line. But they only lost by 6, so it's not like.
Yeah, but that game didn't go any way the way I thought it would. That was that's what I get for trusting Kentucky in a big game.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this week, like I said, we got some huge games. We're going to start off with Kansas State, number 25 team in the country, against number 7 Texas. They're going to Austin. Texas is favored -4, and the over-under as of the time of us recording this is 49.5. So it's actually gone down a little bit. We talked a little bit about this afternoon. The more I think about this game, the more confident I am in Texas winning this game and covering. At the beginning of the week, I was kind of like, man, this is going to be and I still think it's going to be a tough game. I think this is a game that Texas is going to have to play really well to win. But I do think that we're really strong, where I think Kansas State might not have the best talent, and that's on both lines. I think our line play is going to be key here. If we can just keep from turning over the ball, I think we're setting ourselves up really well. So give me Texas to cover. I think that K-State will have Texas's full attention, and I feel like when Texas wants to play its best, they normally do, and I like them in this spot.
Yeah, I think having the game at home is big. I mean, if this was a road game at the noon kickoff, I'd be a lot more,
it'd be different.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be a tough game. In terms of regular season, this, I think, again, you never want to say this because there'll be a game you're not expecting to be tough, and it'll be tough, but on paper, this will be the toughest game left on the schedule for Texas. I mean, if Texas can get through this game, get healthy as the year comes to a close, I actually think this is, again, Quinn being out's a huge thing, and I want him to be back, but this is actually something that they can use as they can twist it to kind of be almost like a blessing in disguise, because other people are going to have to step up. And I think with Quinn, they kind of had this thing to where, like, all right, man, we can kind of throw the ball downfield. We can catch back up in games. Now the margin for error is way lower or way smaller. And so I'm with you. Like, Malik has got to protect the ball. Like, I thought he did pretty good last week, but he didn't protect the ball. I'm shocked. I haven't seen the dude play long enough, I don't guess. I thought, because the dude is, like, just a massive guy, but they never used him in any type of like run pass option, which I was really shocked by. Maybe they're worried that he's going to get hurt too, and they're trying to keep him. I definitely think there'll be more run pass option in this game. I think Texas is going to rely heavily on defense and running the ball, which they should. Even when Quinn's back, that's how they should play. Because Brooks is making a case for, the running back awards to Doak Walker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's making a huge case for that. I think he's the front runner for that personally. And yeah, I'm with you. I think that Texas has to get out to, or they don't have to, but I think if Texas gets out to a fast start, jumps up on Kansas State 10-0 early, 14-0 early, I think that they can use the run game to kind of, make the game shorter and make the game go by quicker. And I don't want to get behind. I will say that. Like, if Texas falls behind 14-0, I'm a little concerned because I don't think that without Quinn, this team's built to come back from large deficits. So I think the first quarter is going to be huge in kind of deciding how this game's going to go. But give me Texas covering. I actually think that line is a little disrespectful to Texas, if I'm being totally honest with you. I know that they don't have Quinn, but I just think they're the much better team. And I'm going to stay away from the over-under because I want to lean under, but I have no idea how this game's going to go in terms of that. So give me Texas to cover as well.
Yeah, I wonder what the line would be if Quinn was playing. I think it'd probably be around 9
Like
or 10
probably
maybe.
touchdown more. Yeah.
Yeah, touchdown to 8, yeah. So yeah, all right, so we're both on the same page with that. So next up, let's do Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is -3, over under 53.5. I'll be quick on this one. I don't know what it is about A&M, but I just can never read them right. Every game I think they're going to lose, they end up winning, and vice versa. So I actually think they're going to win this game. I just feel like Lane Kiffin has 1 or 2 games a year where they should win and they don't show up, and that's what kind of torpedoes their season. And I think this is the game. So give me Texas A&M to win.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. I love Ole Miss in this game, and I love the over. I love the over here. I think Jackson Dart's going to have a monster game. I really do. I think Texas A&M is going to do everything they can to stop Junkins, and I think that Ole Miss knows how big this game is. This to me is like those games we always talk about, where like if your team's not in the hunt for an SEC title or a national title, are you like this is the game Ole Miss has to win, and it's the game Texas A&M has to win. So that's why this game is so big, in my opinion, is because both teams don't have a shot really to, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like both teams are long shots to win their divisions in the SEC. And but if you want to consistently be that second team in the division, or in your third or fourth team in the conference, that's what these two teams are constantly fighting for. And so, give me Ole Miss. I think they still have an outside shot looking in. I think Texas A&M is going to come out and they're going to, again, sell out trying to stop Junkins. But I think Jackson Dart has a big game. I love the over here, and I'm taking Ole Miss with the cover as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss has a shot because they've already beat LSU, but they would need Alabama to lose 2 conference games. So
yeah.
Not sure that's going to happen. And they still have A&M, and then they got at Georgia, and then Louisiana Monroe, and at Mississippi State to close it out. So,
but right now where the
would be
SEC
tough,
stands, you got Georgia. Again, I'm just talking about like the past decade or whatever, or pretty much historically, but past decade. You got Georgia, Alabama, LSU. That fourth team is like, it's always a battle between A&M, Ole Miss, Florida. This year Missouri obviously is fantastic, but I'm saying like normally this is kind of that like, okay, Ole Miss has to stay here at this point because Kiffin doesn't want to start falling down to where like they're the 7th, 8th best team in the conference year in year out. I think he's in a really good spot where they're consistently getting to 9 wins a season. And I just think that this is a year, especially with how good Junkins is. I think that this is a year they need to protect home field and win this game. So I think that they're going to rise to the occasion on that, and I think they're going to play well.
Next game up, number 14 Missouri at number 1 Georgia. Georgia is -15.5, over under 55.5. This is just one of those games, man, that I went back and forth. I think this was the toughest game I had to pick all week. And everything I keep thinking and seeing, I just keep thinking that Missouri has a shot in this game. I really like Missouri this year. I think that they have some weapons that can, if they fall behind early, I think they have an offense that can get them back into the game. I think that's where a lot of teams falter against Georgia, is they don't have the weapons or the offense to get back into the game if they get down early. I think Missouri could do that, but I think this is going to be a tight game. I don't know if Missouri will win it outright, but I do think they keep it close, and give me Missouri to cover, but I would not be shocked if Missouri goes in there and this is a last possession type game.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to give somewhere. I think that Georgia is due for a loss. I think they're due for a loss. I think they're due for not making the college football playoff. That time always comes for dynasty type teams, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put together a dynasty right here. If they even make the college football, in my opinion, winning back to back, in college football is already impressive enough. If they get back and even get into the championship game, you could argue that that's one of the best 3-year stretches anybody's ever had in college football. But Missouri is that team that I just feel like they keep winning. They keep winning games you think they're going to lose. They win on, last second field goals. They just seem to have that special thing about them where we always talk about this a lot with college basketball. You always have that team like, I kind of look at it like the Texas Tech of the Big 12. The Texas Tech's not going to consistently win Big 12 titles, but once every 8 years, once every 10 years, they have a team that goes to the Big 12 championship game or maybe wins the Big 12. That's where Missouri's at right now. This is the team. If they're going to do anything in the SEC, especially with the expansion coming up, this is the year they got to do it. They have all the momentum going for them. The recruiting is stepping up a lot. Missouri's turning into a place that I think a lot of people are starting to take notice. I actually, oddly enough, I'm not going to say Missouri's the better team, but I feel like Missouri with Bowers being out, I think Missouri has more playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. They have two really good running backs. They got
I'll agree
Burton
with
on the receiver. Yeah, I mean, I just think that I'm with you. I think this game is going to be extremely close. I'm taking Missouri as well. I'm not going to go money line yet because again, I'm kind of like if this was at Missouri, I totally would. And I'm going to go the over. I think the offense is actually both offenses are going to come to play. Normally I'd be like, it's Georgia, but I think Georgia wins this game. They're going to have to almost win it in this type of game. I don't think this is going to be a Georgia-Kentucky situation where Georgia just absolutely stomps them. Missouri is really good, and I think they're going to prove to a lot of people that they're in it to win it this year. And this game's going to come down to the final few possessions.
Next game up. Last time we might see this game for a long time. Bedlam, number 10, Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is +6. Over under is 60.5. This is a game that if I'm an OU fan, this is the kind of game that really worries me because you were kind of riding so high off that Texas win. They haven't played well since then. And OU since that Texas win has been awful. I can't remember if they played Iowa State before Texas, right? Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. So so UCF, they barely squeaked out a win. They did not look good last week against Kansas. They're just I don't know. I don't know if that was their like crowning moment for the year and they just think they can just go in to these places and beat people, but I really like the way Oklahoma State's playing right now, and I think the way that you can beat OU is running the ball effectively, keeping that offense on the bench, and I think that's what Oklahoma State's going to do. I really like Oklahoma State to not only cover but to win this game. I'm just going to pick them to cover, but I think I'd be more shocked if OU went in there and played really well and beat Oklahoma State by double digits than I would be if Oklahoma State wins. So I just think this is a classic Mike Gundy game where, again, this is the last time they're going to see each other for who knows how long. This kind of reminds me of that Texas A&M a few years ago, not a few, but a while back. And and this just has a feeling of like they can ruin OU's season, and they would love nothing more than that. Not only that, but they're still in the hunt for a Big 12 title. So give me Oklahoma State in this situation, and I'm pretty confident about them pulling this off.
What was the over under again?
60.5, and give me the over on that as well.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over here. The over is no, because if it was my lock of the week, it'd feel better. If I had to think about it, it's not my lock of the week, but I'm hammering the over. Give me Oklahoma State money line. And I just did the thing that is why I'm going to take them. Earlier in the show, I said Jonathan Brooks is I basically said he was the best running back in college football. He's not the best running back in college football. That's Ole Gordon. And I totally forgot about him. And I think that's been the story this year. People don't realize how good this dude is, man. This dude is running all over everybody. He's going to completely dominate Oklahoma. Like, he is going to run all over them. I am going to be taking whatever player props are available for Ole Gordon. I'm taking the overs on everything. They're going to use this dude in every single aspect of the game. Oklahoma State is ascending. Oklahoma is showing us that they were the team we thought they were going into the year. And I'm not just saying that because Kansas beat them. I'm not taking anything away from them beating Texas. They played a great, great game. But this Oklahoma team is not ready yet. They're not, in my opinion, Oklahoma State is the better team. When I watch both teams play, I actually think Oklahoma State is the better team. I'm kind of shocked that this line is where it's at, to be totally honest with you. I think this line should be closer to the 3.5 that the Texas-Kansas State game is in. You get Oklahoma State at home. Mike Gundy, you said it best. This is a Mike Gundy game. He is going to pull out all the stops on this game. This is their season. Even though they are still in the hunt for a Big 12 title, this is their season, in my opinion. This is Oklahoma State's season right here. They're going to play, hammer the over. I'm taking Oklahoma State money line all day. I'll be totally honest with you. I see Oklahoma State potentially winning this game by double digits. I really do. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hammer this down. Oklahoma State's my lock of the week. Oklahoma State money line, lock of the week. Because I feel the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking, this is my lock of the week. You got a ton of value here. At home, Oklahoma State, Ole Gordon. Yeah, just give me Oklahoma State all day. I think I think Oklahoma State's going to show the whole country, like, man, this is a team we need to start paying attention to.
See, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go that far. I do think they're vastly improved from where they were at the beginning of the year, but I think this game's going to be more of an indictment on where OU really is. Like we talked about, those Red River games are just so weird that it didn't shock me that OU beat Texas, because that's just how those games go sometimes. Like, there's been numerous times where we have way less of a team than OU had, but we either won the game outright or we were right there at the end. So, yeah, I agree with you, though. I think Oklahoma State, I just really like the fact that they're at home, and OU is not playing good football right now, in my opinion, and I think Oklahoma State is.
They can't stop.
Well, not only that, but they just, when you lose a game like you lost last week and you haven't played well in 2 or 3 weeks, like, that starts taking a toll a little bit. So, I mean, again, they could have 2 or 3 losses by now because they've squeaked out of some wins in the last few weeks. So I would not be shocked if this game goes Oklahoma State's way at all.
And this just goes to show you what I love about college football is that at the beginning of the year, Oklahoma State and Iowa State, before we got into Big 12 conference play, people were basically saying, like, dude, are these two of the worst teams in the conference? And here they are fighting to, like, just battling week in and week out. And that's what I love about college football is each week I feel like, you could argue that this team and this team or, whatever. This year, more than any other year, I feel like there's so much parity from 1 to 25 or whatever it is. I just think this year is so crazy to me how earlier in the year I was like, dude, Oklahoma State's bad. And in the past 3 weeks,
and they were bad.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. But that's just a great coaching job by Gundy is that they've turned it around. And now we're sitting here thinking, dude, they have an outside shot. They have an outside shot to win the Big 12 still. It's crazy.
I wouldn't even say it's an outside shot. They don't play Texas this year. So they've got OU, right. and then they've got UCF, Houston, BYU.
Those are all games that if they win this game, yeah, they'll be favored
in every one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Next game, another tale of two teams kind of going in opposite directions, but one of these has not played well the last few weeks, kind of similar to Oklahoma. Number 5, Washington at number 24, USC. Washington has not played well. They are -3, over under 76.5. And just like I said, man, you talk about OU's kind of look bad the last couple weeks. Washington has looked really bad the last few weeks. They have just, I don't know what has happened with their offense, but they just don't look like the same team right now. And they played, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So after the Oregon win, they beat Arizona State 15-7, and then pulled out a 9-point win against Stanford, which, they were, I can't remember exactly how much, but I know they were favored by probably 3 touchdowns. They just haven't looked the same. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're trying to get, there was kind of a lull and now they're going to get amped back up, but I do like Washington in the spot because I just don't think USC is very good. I think if they had any other name next to them and any other quarterback, nobody would be talking about them. I just don't think they're very deep. I think they go as Caleb Williams goes, and he's struggled in some big games this year. So, I'm going to kind of stay away from that 76.5 because it's just such a big number. And I kind of feel like this could kind of go the way that Notre Dame game went, where Washington jumps up on USC and then they just can't claw their way out. So give me Washington to cover. I think if Washington plays the way they're capable, this is going to be a blowout. But the one thing that's got me kind of nervous is they just have not looked good the last couple of times they've been out on the field. But I still think they get it done. I think they cover. And again, 3 to me is a pretty low number, considering. So, yeah, but that's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that here's the crazy thing. We're writing off Caleb Williams, we're writing off USC, rightfully so. They look terrible. They're not very good. But what's crazy is they have Washington and Oregon left on their schedule. If Caleb Williams goes out there and plays incredible and they win both of those games, now we're back to the hype of Caleb Williams. So I think that if you're going to see a good performance this year from USC, it's got to be this game. And that's why as massive as 76 is, 76.5, as massive as that number is, and as much as I don't want to be betting an over on that, I'm still taking the over. Because I think that, yes, Washington has looked terrible the past few weeks. Terrible. But USC's offense is the best medicine for a struggling offense. Penix is going to throw for over 400. He's going to have multiple touchdowns, okay? Caleb Williams, this is going to be an epic quarterback duel. I don't know who's going to win the game. That's why I'm going the over, because I think that this is just going to be a back and forth game. This game is going to last 6 hours, Chris. It's going to last 6 hours because there's going to be so much scoring, man. Is this like a 9:30 start time?
No, this is 6:30 our time.
Oh, thank God. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be fun, man. I think that Caleb Williams knows that, hey, man, this is the game, because we're already starting to see some draft board stuff come out. And I'm starting to see Drake May as the number 1 pick on half of these big boards that I'm seeing. Caleb Williams knows, man, hey, I gotta put together a Caleb Williams type performance. I don't think we've seen it yet this season. This is the game I think we see it. I don't think that's enough for USC to potentially win. That's why I'm staying away from who's going to win this game. But that's why I'm going to go the over, because I think there's going to be a ton of points. I think both quarterbacks play out of their minds. And I think at the end of it, when one team loses, it's almost like that Oregon-Washington game. You're almost disappointed somebody had to lose. I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome game. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And, yeah, we'll see.
I just think the fact that if Drake May is up there at number 1 instead of that's preposterous to me, because you want to talk about Caleb Williams having some bad losses. Nobody in the country has had 2 worse losses than North Carolina, as far as like a ranked team that 2 weeks ago was top 10, and now I don't even know if they're ranked anymore. You can't lose to Virginia, being the favorite they were, and then turn around and lose to Georgia Tech like that. That's weird to me. But again, we'll see if they have some more magic.
I think Caleb
lined
Williams
up for this
is
season or
having
not.
a tough. I think the thing that's going against Caleb Williams right now is how USC is behaving after these losses. I think that it, like, people, that rubs people the wrong way. When you're not out there, you're writing on your fingernails, expletives to the other team. You don't go out there and you don't back it up. You don't go shake hands. Again, I'm not saying that's why somebody wouldn't take him number one, but I'm saying I think right now all the Caleb Williams hype over the past 12 months is at the lowest it's been. And I think that he is going to put together a monster performance knowing that. I'm with you. I still think he's clearly, in my opinion, like the guy that should go number one. I mean, he's got all the tools. But this is a game that if he goes out there and has another terrible game or has another disappointing game, I mean, that talk is just going to keep ramping up. So we'll see how they respond, because USC has not responded well at all this year when their backs have been against the wall. So we'll see what happens.
All right, last game on the main slate. Number 13 LSU at number 8 Alabama, game of the week. Alabama is -3, over under is 61.5. To me, man, that 61.5 number to me is so high. I just feel like this is gonna be one of those classic, like, just in the trenches games. Alabama's defense is really good. I think they can slow down LSU's offense, and I think that's the key. Like, if you can slow them down enough to where they can't get in that rhythm and they can't get going, that's where Alabama can really feast on you. And I think Alabama's having to win games differently than they have in the past few years, where they just kind of grind you to death, So give me Alabama to cover this one. I think I'm going to stay away from the over-under because, again, I could see this game being a shootout, kind of, and I can also see it being just a slugfest. So give me Alabama -3, and I feel pretty confident in it. I just think Alabama is stronger up front, and I think they're going to give Daniel some problems.
Yeah, me and you are on the same page a lot this week. I love Alabama here. I've already used up my lock of the week, but this is my second most confident play on the slate. I think Alabama's going to kill LSU. I really do. I think they're going to just dominate them in every phase of the game. Alabama's getting back to that team that I think Nick Saban wants to be. Like, I think there for a while they had to kind of start, after LSU, Joe Burrow, all this stuff, during that time, it was all about, all right, man, we got to spread. We got to have 4 receivers. We got to spread them out. I think this is actually the team that Nick Saban wants, is just a tough-minded, tough football team, tough in the trenches. Alabama just keeps getting better and better. They're a way better team than what we saw against, when Texas played them. They seem a lot more confident. Give me Alabama all day. I think Alabama wins this game by a couple, I'm not going to say a couple touchdowns, but I think it's a double-digit victory.
Didn't you just say that they were going to kill him?
Yes.
so they're going to kill him.
Hey, we've seen it before. If I say, hey, man, they're going to beat them by double digits, and then all of a sudden they only win by 9, but they dominate them in every phase. Like, just, they can still dominate and only win by 12. You know what I mean? Because they get like a backdoor 60-yard touchdown. All right, look. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. Wow. And let's do this. Let's make it interesting. I don't get to count this as a win if Alabama doesn't win by 2 touchdowns.
No, we're not doing that.
All right, let's not do that. But yeah, I do think, like, here's the thing. I do think Alabama, I see this being a low-scoring game. So to me, like a 10-point win, if the game's going to be, 27-17, but Alabama's just like making life very difficult, I do look at that. Like, I think Alabama's going to outrush them. I think they're going to get to the quarterback. I think they're going to cause Daniels to make mistakes. And yeah, I really like Alabama here. I think they match up really well with LSU.
All right, so let's get into our additional plays. I'm going to go through mine pretty quick, and then I'll do my lock at the end. I really like UNT +8 versus UTSA. UNT's played really well the last couple of weeks. They haven't gotten the wins, but they've been in every game. I think they keep it close again. This is just one of those gut check performances right here on this next one. Iowa Northwestern under 30.5. I'm going to take it. I told myself at the beginning of the year, every Iowa game I'm taking the under, and they haven't let me down too many times. So yeah, that's a game that you keep checking your phone, but you definitely don't want to watch that game because that's going to be brutal. I like Kentucky minus 4.5 at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's not very good. I think Kentucky might have a bounce back. And this one kind of worries me a little bit just because to me, it's such a weird line. But give me Kansas plus 3.5 at Iowa State. That's so weird that I want to check that again and just make sure that is accurate because okay, so it's Iowa State minus 2.5, or so K-State or Kansas plus 2.5. That's still weird to me. I know Kansas is in a classic letdown spot. I know that, and I know Iowa State's a tough place to play when they're good, but I just think, most of the time Kansas doesn't have anything to play for right now. So if they get a big win like that, then it's just kind of like, oh, well, it's like a feel good. They have everything in front of them too. Only losing to Texas so far in the conference. So no, they lost to Oklahoma State too, didn't they? No, that was K-State. So yeah, so Kansas is still good to go. No, they've got 2 losses. Who else did they lose to? Yeah, they did lose to Oklahoma State. So yeah, I still like Kansas. I think they're a better team. And I think we're going to find out a little bit about Iowa State in this game. I just don't think they've played anybody. So yeah, they're racking up wins, but they haven't played anybody of, any kind of notoriety or anything. So give me Kansas plus 2.5. And then my lock of the week, I can't believe this line is like this. Give me Nebraska minus 3 at Michigan State. Matt Rule's really got them playing really well right now, especially where they were early in the year. So, and Michigan State's just a dumpster fire. So, give me Nebraska minus 3, and that's my lock of the week.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I think what Matt Rule's doing that I really like, and I know that how crazy this sounds because I know that every coach does this for the cameras. Okay, I totally understand that. But when I'm watching these videos online and I'm seeing his speeches, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like these are like genuine things that like he's saying. Like I don't feel like he's putting on like an extra performance. And I'm just telling you, man, give Matt Rule. People are seeing why Matt Rule is so coveted in college football. I know things didn't work out in the NFL with him, but this dude is an elite college football coach. And
yeah, I like Matt Rule.
I'm telling you, Nebraska is going to be a force to be reckoned with in a few years. Let him get his players in there. We saw what he did at Baylor. This dude is an elite college football coach. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that one since we're already talking about it. I love that play. I'm shocked that I think Nebraska is going to take care of business. I love Nebraska in that game. So go ahead and put me down for that one. Here's a few that I like. Give me Florida with the minus 4.5. Sorry, I was trying to find my picks. Give me Florida with the minus 4.5. I think Arkansas is just kind of giving up on this season, man. I hate to say it. I think Arkansas really had a lot of high hopes coming into this year, and it just hadn't been the case. They can't protect the quarterback at all. Jefferson, man, my God, they can't protect this dude.
Yeah,
this dude is
looks
just
terrible.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily his fault, but their offense is bad.
And I don't think Florida's that good, but at home, Florida minus 4.5, I'm going to take it. And I tell you which game I'm shocked that we even though Clemson's having a down year. I mean, we got Notre Dame and Clemson here. I mean that to me is crazy. This is a game that I'm staying away from, but I just wanted to point that out that at the beginning of the year, I mean, I think people were anticipating that being a top 15 matchup. And, Clemson is fighting for a bowl game this year. So that is going to be that's a game I'm really interested to see go down. Let me also put where's my picks here? Sorry, I had a list here and I'm not there it is. Okay. Let me also get this is a game that I wasn't sure I was going to pick, but the more I looked at it, I've been having good success with Minnesota this year, except for when I said they were going to cover against Michigan. That was a big mistake. But give me Minnesota with the minus 1.5 at home against Illinois. I mean, again, I know both teams aren't very good, but I think Minnesota is better than a -1.5 at home to Illinois. Let me also get a little bit of this. I'm looking at this Auburn Vanderbilt game, and we got the -12.5. Give me Auburn -12.5. I don't think Auburn's very good, but that line is a little bit low. I think there's some value there. Vanderbilt's going to put up a good battle, but I see that game being at least 2 touchdown victory. And then I got 2 more here. I'm with you on this Iowa State Kansas game. Man, that line shocks me as well. That's what makes me think that there's something that I don't know. And just to play it safe, I'm taking the under on this game, actually. I think this game, with the line being at a -2.5 with Iowa State, I think that kind of screams to take the under 53.5 here. So give me that game with the under. And then the last game of the week, a game that I'm feeling really confident in, a game that I think is going to be a great game. I'm actually going to take Colorado with the +13.5. The only reason being is because I think that they're going to do some things on offense at home. I think that this is a game that Colorado absolutely needs to keep their bowl chances alive. I mean, they are really in danger of not making a bowl with their remaining schedule. I do like Colorado to keep this one close. I think Oregon State wins it, but I think Colorado does just enough to keep it close. So give me Colorado with the +13.5, and that'll finish up my my extra picks for the week.
All right, so looks like we got a lot of the same picks on this week, especially in the main slate. I think we had the same except for the Ole Miss A&M game. So yeah, I think this is gonna be another great week of college football. I mean, I'm really excited. This is a game that K-State, Texas, that I can't wait to get to. But man, I wouldn't be telling the truth if I said I wasn't a little,
And this is the first
a little
week.
nervous on this one.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Chris, but doesn't this feel like the first week this season where we could legitimately, like, I know that each week anybody could lose, but doesn't this feel like the first week that legitimately we could see Texas fall, top 10 team, Alabama, top 10 team fall? Like, we have like 3 top 10 teams, 3 or 4, even Notre Dame at 12 at Clemson. We have 4 top 15 teams here that legitimately could lose this week, like that are going to have a battle on their hands. Like, I don't think we've had that so far this year. I think this week could, and I know I say this every week, but this week I feel like crazy things could happen, man. Crazy things could happen. It's November, last month of the college football season before, we get to the championship game, the conference championships. Man, it's going to be.
What are you talking about?
November's
What
the
do you
last
mean
month
last
of the
week of
college
the season?
The last month.
Oh, last month. You said the last week.
Oh, no, my fault. I just meant November's the last month. Don't you think that we could potentially see some crazy stuff this week?
Yeah, I just think this is a week where it's gonna start separating itself out. It's just like people are talking about, who should be ranked ahead of who in the first college football playoff rankings. Who cares? All of this is gonna play itself out. All these teams are gonna still play each other somewhere down the line. That's what makes it great. So I'm with you. I'm really excited for this week, and I think we'll know a lot going forward after Saturday. So, all right. Well, Justin, thanks for joining me this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Let us know what games you're looking forward to this week, and we'll see you next time.